No, real happy. So quiet.
Okay, we'll call the meeting to order if we would stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call
Good evening. Ann Catrillo,
here.
Debbie Kulik,
Present.
Jason Goldstrand,
Present.
and Rebecca Bayer.
Jason, is Rebecca online? Okay. She might be stuck in traffic. It was pretty heavy coming down. We'll continue then. I need a motion to approve the agenda for May 1st, 2025, with members of the committee reserving the right to add to the agenda and take further action in the district's best interest.
So much.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
I need a motion to approve the April 10th, 2025 meeting minutes.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion on that? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, and we'll begin for our items for discussion for today. Mrs. Laurie with the Alliance.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good evening. I'm going to begin with our observances for this month, which is May. Welcome, May, everyone. It's been beautiful days as we started. The month of May, we take time to reflect on Asian Americans, Native Americans, and Pacific Islanders. That is AAPI, is one of our month-long observances this month. It is also Haitian Heritage Month, which is celebrated during the month of May to commemorate the vibrant history, culture, and rich traditions of Haiti and its people. It is also Jewish American Heritage Month, a great opportunity to celebrate the important contributions that Jewish Americans have made to America. It is also Mental Health Awareness Month, which was established in 1949 to increase the awareness and importance of mental health and wellness in the lives of Americans. For our daily observances, May 5th is Cinco de Mayo, which celebrates and commemorates the Mexican Army's victory over the French Battle of Puebla, May 5th, 1982. May 9th is Military Spouse Appreciation Day, which we honor the contributions and sacrifices made by military spouses and their commitment and support to help and keep our country safe. May 12th is Vesak Day or Vishaka Puja Day. It is one of the most important days in Buddhism and for all Buddhists. May 14th is Mother's Day. As we know, we celebrate mothers and the great things that they do for all of us every day. May 21st is World Day for Cultural Diversity for Dialogue and Development. This was a new one for me. Excited about it though. Celebrates not only the richness of the world's cultures, but also the essential role of intercultural dialogue for achieving peace and sustainable development. May 30th is World MS Day, and that is the International Awareness Day for people affected by multiple sclerosis. So May 22nd at 5:30, we have our final workshop series. We have had workshop series every month, minus since November, minus April, because we did have a presenter for professional development. And our final workshop series will be led by myself and Maria De Jesus Perez, the high school North Reflections coach, and it's going to be about fostering culturally relevant learning. Our focus since we began in November are the culturally relevant sustaining education competencies, which are now a part of the Common Ground Framework, which are 3 sets of competencies, which are cultural awareness, trauma awareness, mental health, and wellness. So those are all combined, as well as technological and virtual engagement. Those are for teacher training for both preparation and professional development, and to provide educators with skills and approaches that will enable them to better serve learners from all walks of life. So the competencies that we're concentrating on that evening are competency 3, what are design and facilitating culturally relevant learning that bridges real world experiences into educational spaces. Competency 7, which is communicating in linguistically and culturally responsive ways that demonstrate respect for learners, educators, educational leaders, and families. And we will concentrate on competency 8 as well, establishing high expectations for each learner and treat them as capable and deserving and of achieving success. We did talk about high expectations in March. We had a wonderful presentation by Naquasia Dickinson, a 2nd grade teacher at Bushkill. She did a wonderful job. And so we're going to incorporate some of what she talked about as well. Our coffee chat for the month of May is for Asian and American Pacific Islander Month. I will moderate, and our speaker will be Sandra Hartman, a computer science teacher and equity fellow and author. She's going to talk about the minority myth, and so she's going to do a great job doing that, I'm sure. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, for today, we have our first curriculum look at world language, and that's Mrs. Matheson. Come on up.
It's okay. It's fine, honey. I'm not gonna touch it. Okay. I don't need a computer, but do you have my slides? We're working on it. Okay, I'm gonna talk about it. Eventually he'll get it up, and if he does, he does. If he doesn't, he
I
doesn't.
don't think he has them.
If he doesn't have access to it.
Slide shared.
I sent it to Heather. Heather sent it to,
Yeah, and they're
Mhm.
on the agenda themselves, itself.
It's
the
okay.
Actual presentations on the agenda itself. You want me to join real quick and show them?
If you share them out.
That's not.
Share it.
You have to share it with each kind of various schools.
ESASD, the ESASD board, right?
Yeah, USD dash school dash.
So, Dr. Cabral.
So I go back to the original and share that she shared, and then, okay,
It's either that or share it with library, because their computers out there are already linked up, alright?
It's on the agenda, so.
Share it with her.
Well, what kind of agenda is on
Yeah, but
that?
he doesn't.
I know that what's on the agenda. It's just-
got it, and it's
Like,
it's shared universally, anybody with the,
I don't see
in the whole
anything
world
else that
can,
is shared.
okay. So you want me to do, what's the name of the group, shared?
Oh, you can share it on your computer's already attached to the other side, there's quite a lot.
You got it,
That's what it-
Oh, right underneath the page.
it's shared with
Thank
mine.
That's it. Really, I can do it without it. It's perfectly fine. It doesn't matter.
Do without it, so okay with you?
That's fine with me. Really. It's not a big deal. We're just gonna move on without it, because I don't want to waste too much of your time. A little bit about the process. When this was originally mentioned here at this committee, that we start this whole process, I was a little shocked that night. So we got together and we tried to figure out what our first steps would be. And as it happened, there was a Northeast Teacher Conference on the from the Council of Teaching Foreign Languages that year, but it was a little too late for us all to get to it. So instead of going to it, I researched their website and I found a list of vendors. And from that list of vendors, I downloaded it and I went to Heather and I said, I don't know any of these corporations. I don't know what's out there right now, and none of us do. So can you help me out with a little research? So she had Adam Kaufman and Marissa Jacoby help research all of that. And they got us some examination copies, and they got us online with some vendors and some online language learning companies and all kinds of new things that I was marveled at. I was like, wow, look at all this new stuff. I had no idea was out there. So that was our first step. From there, in the spring of 24, summer 24, we evaluated those resources a little bit more. In the fall of 24, there was an ACTFL conference, and ACTFL again is the American Council on the Teaching of Foreign Languages. Two of our members were able to go to that and attend it, and they came back and they said, okay, here's what's new, here's what's exciting, here's what's going on, which gave us a little bit more guidance as to where the field is going, which was also very exciting to find out. From there, in the fall of 2024, we determined who the writers were going to be for this curriculum. And in the winter of 24-25, we actually sat down and started to write our curriculum. We collaborated, we compared notes, we referred back to all that stuff that we had from before, because now we actually had a base of information to look at, a material to look at. So that was all very exciting. In the spring of 2025, levels 1 through 5, we got in touch with the actual publishers that we were really now starting to narrow things down to. And we asked them to try out a unit. And then from that, we based our final choices on those presentations. The things that are out there that are brand new are amazing. Yeah, well, I want to say at this point, we also decided to separate the department a little bit, because what happened was we all kind of looking at the same resources. Intermediate level language learners or teachers also liked all the same materials that the high school teachers liked. And so we had a little issue there, because we didn't want the same students to, or the students in 6th grade to be using the same resources that they're using in 12th grade. That didn't make sense. So we kind of said, let's put a stop on this right here. We're going to make the intermediate teachers go back and re-examine what might be more effective in grade 6, 7, and 8. So they're going back and redoing that process now, which is a good thing, because they've really finally come together and collaborated and really decided with a good focus what it is we want to teach at each level there. So they're going back now, they're recontacting all of the publishers and seeing what's out there again, what's available for those levels. So meantime, the high school is continuing on. All of these new resources have online text, they have readers, they have workbooks, they have audio, video, they have AI components that were not available in our former work. I mean, some of our materials are over 25 years old that we're working with. So this is all exciting and new, and like, it just makes us all so happy to be looking at this stuff even. The unique thing that they're doing now is taking a top-down approach. So they're looking at what is on the AP exam for each of the languages. And there's basically 6 categories that they want the AP learner to be able to discuss intellectually and be able to present information about. So all of these textbook companies now work from the top, and they say, okay, if those are the categories that we want these kids to really be aware of and able to target, then let's start with teaching that at level 1. So it's not so willy-nilly, it's not so random anymore. It's very targeted to work from the bottom to the top. It's very, it's also using more depth of knowledge than we've ever had before. We're getting into the higher levels of depth of knowledge, because we're asking kids to do more projects, more presentations. It's no longer just informational speech. You know, I have a brother. It's no longer just, you know, my brother's name is. Now it's, my brother is tall and he has brown hair and he really likes soccer. But on the weekends, we go to these festivals, and at the festival, you know, it just goes on and on and on, and it really digs deeper. It's so exciting to look at. In addition to that, there's a family-friendly approach to every single one of these. The parents can check the progress online for every single one of these. All the kids will develop portfolios for each of these resources, and the parents will be able to check, oh, okay, so here's where you are. There's I can statements at the end of these, you know, each unit or each section, so the kids can actually evaluate for themselves. I can now do this. I can now, you know, I can say what my brother's name is. I can introduce my brother to a group of friends, whatever. So that's all very exciting, because the parents can go on and say, oh, you think you can do this? Do it for me. Let's see it. So that's kind of fun, you know, something else we've never had before. 21st century learning styles are all addressed. They all use intercultural connections and communication skills that are required by the ACFL standards and goals. I could go on and on and on about what's new and exciting about these new materials. It energizes me, it enlivens me, it makes me want to get in there and really dig into this. I'm so excited about all these materials, not just for me, but for my whole departments. But again, I don't want to keep you here all night, because I could literally sit and talk about this for hours. I've kind of hit the big stuff. Before I go on any farther, do you have any questions for me?
And I should say how exciting it is to see you excited about this. Like, you are giving me passion about it.
So that's good.
I'm delighted that the district is able to do this for you.
Thank you. I am too. Anything else?
I'm just excited. I'm seeing publications of 2025 and we're in 2020 for a lot of the books. So.
Exactly. Yes, that's exciting. Yeah. Yeah. Anything else? Yes, no?
Thank you so
Okay,
much.
thank you.
Thank you.
for your time.
Thank you.
Merci, danke, gracias.
Instead only 3, I feel like you have a lot more than that.
I do. Shukran. Grazie.
And then that's our last one for the first look, and now we are moving on to our second look for our different ones we did last time.
Yes, thank you. So last time we brought to you 4 different subject areas and courses, materials associated with those courses. You've had some time to look at them. We've had the materials in our office and we've had someone come in and review those. We also had Mrs. Catrillo offer some questions, and if you remember last time we asked if there were any questions about it, if you could get them ahead of us. Nobody did. I don't know if the questions, if it seemed self-explanatory, so I'm happy about that. We made some corrections based on some of the feedback that we got from Mrs. Catrillo, so thank you. And I think we've reformatted everything according to what we hope is the cleanest version that makes sense to you as the user and to our public. So barring any other further questions, we'd like to offer it for the second look and for consideration to the full board for approval.
I did mention to the board at our board meeting on Monday that, you know, everything was available and that if they, since it's such a short time frame, that if anyone had any other concerns, you know, and looking at it to let me know, and then I would let you know prior to
Super,
the next board meeting. So
thank you.
so that we just would have a little bit more time in that. The only other question I have is really not necessarily about the curriculum per se, but the books, you know, I did come in to review all the books and they were all from my estimation, fine. But what I found interesting when we get to the recommendation part, so I just thought I'd bring it up now. Not all of the books that were on display for me to peruse or on here, because I thought, wow, we're getting all those books for $9,000. That's
Yeah,
great.
no.
And then I realized it's just one. So I'm making the assumption, but I want to say it publicly. I'm making the assumption that these are books that we already have, but they were just out for perusal in terms of, you know, because they're on the curriculum and we have to approve the text for the curriculum.
So no, there are some books that we would like to still purchase, but the vendors either made errors in the quotes that they gave us, or the department chairs didn't get the vendor quote in time for this meeting.
Okay.
So you will see in the business category only,
Correct.
some more coming through next month. There were specific time periods for each of these. If you remember the chart that talks about the 6-year cycle. So not all of these are 6-year cycles because we're doing too many at one time. So we want to get them back in the year that they're supposed to be. So business, for example, we're only buying for 4 years, not 6 years, because in 4 years they're up again.
Okay.
So the vendors just didn't understand some of that, and they either gave us 1-year quotes or 6-year quotes, even though our email specifically said, no, we need 4-year quotes. So that is the.
So we'll be saying that in the next,
You will.
whatever the next couple of
You
months
will.
are. Okay, and because in business, I believe it was only one book that was there, Principles of
Yes.
Management. But under Family Consumer Science,
Yes,
there were a lot more. I think there were 4 books,
yes.
if I remember correctly. But like I noticed as an example, sewing wasn't there, and sewing was one of the books I had looked at when they were all out. So I just wanted, so again, that was just, you know, just bringing that up. And I apologize, I'm just doing it today because I really didn't get a chance to look at it until today. But I just wanted to make that clear, especially I'm not going to be at the June board meeting, our APR meeting. So I just wanted everyone else and you know, obviously to know that if there are more books coming, you know, they were out for review and were looked at, even though they may not be appearing on tonight's recommendation.
That the successful sewing is on our quote for High School South. I'm wondering if it's not on High School North.
Maybe.
As you know, we offer them both, but not all of the sections always run at North because there are fewer students.
Okay.
That's exactly what it is. I
Okay.
just opened both.
Okay.
So the North doesn't have the quote because they don't run the sewing class.
Okay.
I mean, again, we offer it, but
Mhm.
enrollment isn't such to offer it,
Okay.
and it is included on the South.
Okay, excellent, thank you. All right, and then in that case, we're ready to move on to our library presentations. Thank you. I just want to say, first of all, thank you for coming out again. We met last year in the springtime, talking about, we added an extra position so that every school would have a librarian, which obviously is needed beyond a doubt. So I had asked, now that it's kind of been a year, just for us to get a sense of, where we are now. So thank you for coming and giving us an update. Yeah.
Okay.
Success.
All right.
That's pretty.
I'm going to be turning it over in just a moment. I'm Marjorie Goldstrand, the co-chair for the K-12 Library Department, and we have Alice Cyphers and Kimberly Borden. And last year, as you had mentioned, we had an opportunity to share what is working in the library and to mention some of the situations where we were having some struggles. And we wanted to come back to say an enormous thank you and show our gratitude, because what we had mentioned, our biggest obstacle was that we were hoping to have reinstated 2 staffing positions. And as a result of your support of our programming and having those 2 positions reinstated, we have been able to overcome 99.9% of our obstacles. So I'm going to turn it over at this point to Kimberly Borden, and then I'll be hopping back in.
Hello, everybody. Just put this into present mode. So thank you for welcoming the library department back this year to share our updates, challenges, and goals for continued growth. So I introduce you to Stacks of Success, Celebrating Victories, the sequel. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. No, this is okay. So as we enter the 25th year of the 21st century, can you believe that? Let's talk about the evolved role of the school librarian. So what do librarians do? We are curators of print resources. We curate print resources that are current, relevant, diverse, and support the curriculum. We are designers of collaborative spaces, as you will see further down the line in this presentation. We are curators of digital resources and tools, building choice boards and resource lists for teachers to support teaching and learning. We ensure equitable digital access for our students by providing direct instruction on using library resources like PebbleGo, Bookflix Gale, and National Geographic, and many, many more. That's just a few. We are facilitators of professional learning by creating tutorial videos and both technical instruction and instructional support to our colleagues. We are builders of instructional relationships, always seeking out ways to support what is going on in the classroom. We empower students as creators using media, information, and literacy skills. We are cultivators of community partnerships, working with our local library branches and partnering with local businesses for grant writing initiatives. We are advocates for our students, supporting their right to read. We are leaders beyond the library. Several of our department members serve on regional and state organizations. There are some rock stars in the library department. We are strategic investors of digital resources, ensuring students and faculty are getting access to resources that support the mission, vision, and values of the East Stroudsburg Area School District. So now that we know more about the updated role of the modern school librarian, let's talk about why we are so important. Did you know the mere presence of a school library staffed by a certified school librarian is the second predictor of academic success, poverty being number one? Oh, let me go back. When spending for school libraries increases, so do reading scores. Strong school libraries build strong students. 36 state library impact studies, including those in Pennsylvania, confirm that school librarians and libraries support students in academic achievement, lifelong learning, 21st century skills, and reading. Also math too. School librarians provide the scaffolding for reading success. The bottom line, schools with librarians compared to schools without librarians significantly outperform on state standardized tests in the area of reading, ranging anywhere from 8 to 35%. That's a big deal. School librarians provide the blueprint for teaching students research skills, digital citizenship, online safety, and information communication skills. Your school librarians are the experts in digital literacy and well-developed instructional strategies based in critical thinking, communication, and creative problem solving. School librarians provide 21st century professional development to their teaching colleagues. A 2013 Pennsylvania study showed student test scores were even higher in schools where librarians taught collaboratively with teachers and provided in-service trainings to their faculty. Just when you thought the bragging and shameless self-promotion was over, let's take a quick look at the wonderful things that are happening in the East Stroudsburg Area School District libraries. Let's head over to Resica first. Bobby Nordmark is proudly right now representing our department at our district family literacy night. So that's where she is with Stacy Picotti. Now for a detour over to Smithfield, Alice Cyphers. She's our new hire. So Alice spent her inaugural year at Smithfield by collaborating with the reading department to host a book tasting, curate a multi-language book collection, and seasonal book displays. By the way, I'm kind of hopping through this because I'm sure you can read and look at the details all on your own. So just for the sake of time and, respect for everyone.
I did want to point out, this young gentleman, when he had his first opportunity to sit on the new library furniture, after he had read the entire book, Mrs. Nordmark happened to be sitting there, and this is exactly a direct quote from him. He said, "That was so satisfying." Just have her camera and capture it at the exact right moment.
Okay, we just did Smithfield. We hosted an author visit this year, welcoming author Raymond Lugg. She continues to offer dynamic library programming to her students. Let's head up north to Middle Smithfield and Mrs. Strain. Nicole is not only the librarian, but also the robotics coach and broadcast club advisor. In addition to her top-notch library instruction, Mrs. Strain also rolled out a new STEAM initiative in her library this year. Let's finish up back in town at JM Hill with moi. Part of my educational philosophy is that learning is social, learning is messy, learning is sometimes loud, but most of all, it's fun. I try to infuse STEM concepts into most lessons as much as possible. You may see some of your photos on here. So this year I was able to host a mystery reader event. I'm not sure who had more fun, the kids or the adults.
I did, definitely. I definitely.
You ladies did all the voices and the sounds too, so it was impressive. Let's see. I was awarded the Fred Rogers Method Grant and I used the funds to construct an inflatable classroom. Did we skip that? Did I skip it? Where's the inflatable classroom? Literature appreciation. Oh, I worked on dynamic shelving, which of course resulted in increased circulation. Here's the inflatable classroom that we named Mrs. Borden's Not So Haunted House. And when the kids were in it, the lights were off. It was creepy. We had lights. And of course, we did spooky stories. This year, we worked on some school-wide activities like Dot Day, Stick Together Pixel Art, and collaborative STEM projects. And because of my increased availability to our students, I was able to advise and help students write and publish their own graphic novels. We played many rounds of new book musical chairs, and of course, continued our library instruction and use of our library digital resources. Also, we recently hosted an author event welcoming cartoonist Dwayne Abel. Look at that photo. Look at those little faces. That's what it's about. That's a win. That's a win for us. And again, because of my increased time at the building, I wrote and was awarded 3 grants, including $3,000 to purchase updated books for the nonfiction area of the collection. Now,
Really quickly, I'm so sorry. If you were at the board meeting, you know that the students had responded that one of the things that they liked most about JM Hill was the library, and it's because of her and her dedication to the students and to the library. All of our elementary librarians are incredible, and I'm in awe of what they do for our department and the love that they bring for literature and research, and how far above and beyond they go to really assist our students. So I am so thankful that you continue to support their efforts, and they really do give such a strong foundation for our students so that as they move up to JTL and high school, they already have such a firm foundation. We couldn't do what we do without them, and we couldn't do it without you. And so now you're going to see all of the positive effort that you were able to help us with, and we put it together in a very visual, eye-appealing table.
Before you go on, I just want to say, because Marjorie, you're always so humble and so gracious in your praise of other people. And I agree with everything you've said, particularly the fact that we need the foundation, in our elementary schools, and, keeping that we have a library in every building. But I do have to sing your praises and your counterparts in the secondary buildings as well. Having worked in South and worked alongside in North as well, and knowing obviously our 2 librarians in JTL and Lehman, really the amount of work that all of you do beyond what most people consider to be, a traditional librarian, coming into our classrooms, making such a friendly environment. I mean, that it's beyond the learning part of it. It's become, our libraries have become safe places for our students as well to spend time. So I do want to, really do that kind of shout out, if you will, to all of you. It takes all of you, obviously, and all educators to give what we need to our students. So thank you very much. Appreciate that.
That was so kind, everybody. So the following 3 slides were shared with you last year. Our intention is to provide an update on our growth as well as areas that required continued attention. So number 1, the first thing in the first cell was to address access and equity issue that was created within our own school district. That is partially resolved. Librarians do continue to be pulled to substitute teach, and libraries are sometimes closed for non-library events. However, we have possible solutions to work with our building administrators moving forward to resolve that. So we have ideas to move forward. Secondly, there was an inability to effectively collaborate. I'd like to say that's a work in progress because common planning time is limited with the current schedule. I know that's changing and we're working on that. And we're hopeful it will increase as teachers now have access to a full-time librarian in each building. So this year was kind of, like, hey, I'm here, come see me, let me help you. So, we're all getting used to each other. And I'm happy to report that the facilitation of school-wide literacy events is in full swing, as you can see. All teaching inconsistencies have been resolved, as well as collection development issues. So here's a snapshot of the collection improvement in the 3 buildings that were impacted by the addition of a full-time librarian, and numbers are headed in the right direction. So we're very pleased. Also, book circulation has increased by leaps and bounds at both JM Hill and Smithfield. Our goal is to continue looking for ways to get as many books into the hands of as many students as possible. And our goal, you can see there's a little discrepancy there, but our goal is to work as a team and do a root cause analysis and just to understand any kind of phenomenon when we see a downtick in circulation. So that's part of our goal moving forward, is to work as a department and address that issue. And finally, I would just like to say thank you from the elementary librarians. The addition of the full-time librarian is a game changer. You have allowed us the opportunity to do our jobs and perform it with fidelity. The people who win are the kids, and thank you for being child-focused and giving them the best opportunities for success. And I'm gonna hand this on over to Marjorie, so thank you.
And I would
Thank
just
you.
like to address a little bit in relation to the benefit of adding the instructional aid at the intermediate level, which had a direct impact on Lehman Intermediate. And that was specifically in relation also to her being able to add the 6th grade curriculum. So prior to having an instructional aid, she was still reaching out to a variety of different teachers and teaching a curriculum. She is still doing that in addition to teaching the 6th grade curriculum, as well as still being able to manage all of the Chromebook issues, but she's able to do it because she now has full-time help, and she is through the roof ecstatic and cannot begin to tell you how thankful she is. Her stress level is so much lower, and now when she's helping the students, she's not feeling pulled in 10 different directions, so she's very, very grateful for that. And then we also have a little snapshot of some of the things that are happening at JTL. Not that there was a big change there, but she just wanted you to know that she is also doing amazing things. So she has several different literature promotions that she uses to try and encourage students to have a love of literature. So she has a book in a box blind date where students wrap books and write some little clues about the book, just enough to pique the interest of another reader, who then takes it home, unwraps it, and reads it based on what was written on the outside of the box. Making connections between books, movies, series. So she advertises books that are also movies to encourage them. Hey, did you see this movie? Read the book. It's even better. Book selfie wall. So just pictures of staff and students, what they're currently reading. So if you see someone that you know and you see they're reading that, well, maybe I should read that. And then the Netflix style posters on favorite books. So students are writing summaries of books that they have read, and then sharing new books on Good Morning JTL. The students do a commercial on Good Morning JTL. And then she's also doing a lot with unpacking AI. As you all know, AI is not going anywhere. So she wants to be sure that they are getting information about AI in a safe and competent way so that when they are using it, they're using it in an educational and safe way. So she's giving them information on what it is and how it can be used, explaining that it learns, and most importantly, the ethics of AI. And then she's also developing responsible media consumers so that they know what the influences of media are, the big difference between fact and opinion, the bias that's involved, spotting misinformation, and your personal digital footprint so that they are understanding that what they put online follows them throughout their entire lives. And then this is our Lehman librarian, who is the one that is unbelievably grateful. She was already doing so much, and now she is continuing to do things and adding even more. So she does blackout poetry, 6th grade book tastings, 7th and 8th grade book speed dating, blind date with a book, revamped biography section, lessons on how to find books according to Lexile level, information literacy with a new edition of the 6th grade library class, monthly rotation of reading classes where they have lessons on the messages of what book covers are really telling you, and collaborating with colleagues, building teachers, co-teaching 6th and 7th grade with the science and social studies teachers. She also does special events like Library Jeopardy, PTO Book Fair, Christmas STEM, National Junior Honor Society, Math 24 competition. Mrs. Riley was a guest speaker, mystery in the library, and able to receive training and implementation of restorative practices. So she's very busy. And then here is our table that shows us some of the issues that she was dealing with as challenges. Book checkout was very difficult because she didn't have time because she was there alone. So if she was in the middle of teaching or dealing with Chromebooks, she wasn't able to do that. That issue is now resolved because if she's busy, her instructional aide is able to deal with that. Collection development. The age of the collection was very challenged. She has had time to go through and weed out the titles that no longer belong there and make very qualified decisions about new materials that should be added to the collection. So that is resolved. Library instruction, the 6th grade curriculum is now being taught by her. And as you saw, she is also continuing to teach as she partners with all of the other content area teachers. Chromebook issue, loaners has also been resolved because her paraprofessional can handle that. And her library schedule is resolved. Students are able to visit on passes anytime, thanks to the paraprofessional. So the intermediate librarians would also like to thank you for your continued support of the library programming. We have never come to you with a request and been sent away without your support. And we just cannot begin to explain to you how beneficial that is, not just to us, but to the students of this district, because as it was mentioned in the beginning, support of a library really is support to the students and their academic endeavors. So we are just unbelievably grateful for everything that you have ever done for us, and we will continue to give our all to the students so that they can be successful. Thank you. Thank you so much. Oh, one thing that I didn't mention, and I was elected to mention it, on one of the first slides, one of our proposals for a resolution of difficulty with, and this primarily impacts our elementary librarians. And it's not just librarians, it's all of the specialists, because we have a shortage of substitute teachers. Oftentimes, all of the specialists are being utilized as substitute teachers. And this is a national situation. So we understand that this is not just something happening in East Stroudsburg. But one thing that would help the library department, and not necessarily any of the other departments, unfortunately, but since we are not just teachers, we also manage a library facility. When they are pulled to cover classes, the books that were checked out to the students still come back and we still need to maintain collections. So something that could benefit the elementary librarians, if at all possible, would be in the summer having some per diem days to come in to maintain the library. So if that's something that you would be able to see as a feasibility, just a couple of per diem days for the elementary librarians to make up for some of that lost time when they were pulled to be substitute teachers, that would be an incredible benefit to them to be able to get their library facilities back up to speed for the times that they weren't able to.
Can I quantify the ask?
Yes.
You said a couple, is it 2? What's the ask?
Okay, so this is my thinking. So if I get pulled to sub, no one's doing my job, but it's still happening.
I
and it
am
takes
not
me-
at all arguing.
It takes
I
me
just
2
wanna-
weeks to catch up.
I just wanna find a number to what your ask is. So tell me, in your ideal world, how many days are we going to grant for the summer?
Well, in my mind, I can not do inventory during the school year, and I could use those summer days to do inventory, so maybe 5 days. That would help, because we're looking to rearrange the spaces in the field.
I will price it out and then bring it back to NPR. For next one.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
I would like to say you're doing marvelous things, incredible things, and certainly it's a 180 from our last presentation. So I congratulate you all. I do have a question, however, since a parent asked me this question not long ago. They wanted to know if there is still the full list on the website so that they can choose the books. And my second question would be, who reviews the books that you are choosing to come in?
So there absolutely is a list. If you go into, well, the only thing is, can parents access it now that it's in class link?
I said there was, and I said they could, so I suspect maybe this is like
Gotta be a
the
way.
time to mention that.
The only thing that I'm not 100% certain of is that when they redesigned the website, all of our library resources are now housed in Class Link. And I don't know if parents have access to Class Link. However, if they asked their student,
That's probably the last person to ask, is the student. So I would
Right.
think that that might be a corrective item for our website,
Website.
since we have said that that is available
I
to
am looking
parents.
at, I
Does-
just
is
was
it?
able to pull it up.
Okay, and
Dr.
you can.
Vitale was able to pull it up.
Yes, it's there.
So
I was
everything
just
is
able to
there.
pull it up off
how
our
did you do
website.
that?
You're vindicated.
I'm looking at your card catalog right now.
Okay. And then the second part, as far as who selects the books, each librarian selects what books they would like to purchase. And then it would go to you, right?
Mr. Snyder.
Mr. Snyder.
Because for some time, it was going to Dr. Bradley and Dr. Hippardo. But now I believe that falls under your purview. So you will be making the decisions about whether you feel that all of the titles
I'll
we
be
have
happy to
selected
share that.
are appropriate or not. But there is a process that we go through.
Okay.
to vet all
Well,
of
and
the
I
titles.
remembered it, and now that I actually said it all happens and it's all there, I feel vindicated.
You spoke the truth.
Yes.
It's
Very-
policy.
Very assuredly had this whole conversation, and now is your time, like, I wonder if that's really what's happening.
So right under students and families, there is a tab called library database.
Okay,
It
very
exists.
good.
Thank you. And I reiterate, awesome.
Thank
Awesome.
you.
Your passion and commitment to literacy in our district and your advocacy to make sure that we're putting books in students' hands is truly commendable. So thank you for standing up, having a voice, and making it just incredibly impressive. Thank you for coming out tonight.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
And that is the last of our presentations for this evening. Is there anybody, public participation? Okay, seeing none, then we will move on to our advisory recommendations for consideration by the Finance Committee and the Board of Education. Our first one is, need a motion to recommend to approve the course curriculum for the intermediate math, grades 6 through 8.
So moved. Second.
Good.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Need a recommendation to approve the course curriculum for English language development courses for grades 6 through 12.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Next, we need a recommendation to approve the purchase of Vista products for the ELD program, grades 6 through 12, in the amount of $19,855.03.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Next, I need a recommendation to approve the course curriculum for family and consumer science courses in grades 6 through 12.
So moved. Second.
Any discussion?
For the 21,200 and.
No, just doing the curriculum
Oh,
first.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, D.
Okay,
I'm reading ahead.
that's okay.
My bad.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, now, moving on, needing a recommendation to approve the purchase of GW Publisher products for the Family Consumer Science Program, grades 6 through 12, in the amount of $21,289.21 for high school North materials and $29,745.53 for high school South materials.
So moved. Second now.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, and then moving on. We need a recommendation to approve the course curriculum for the business courses, grades 9 through 12.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion on that? All in favor?
Aye.
And then we need a recommendation to approve the purchase of GW Publisher products for the business program, grades 9 through 12, in the amount of $9,985.02.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And
Is anyone else as excited that we just approved and are moving forward 4 different curriculums?
I know.
It's-
Fantastic.
I-
That's awesome.
Can I ask?
Yeah,
Can I?
I've been
my
waiting
type-
20.
Please.
My question was.
Yes.
Teaching typing in elementary. That we should be offering it and the suggested. Age group that I have heard that there's significant success from other districts. Was around 3rd grade.
Okay.
So that they get that ability to learn how to actually type instead of.
Lots
So
of typing.
I think it's incredibly important to get them before they develop bad habits. So I completely agree.
Which is why I thought when the person told me 3rd grade,
Yeah, 2nd, 3rd grade is usually
would be
the good
good.
spot for it. As we look at our intervention periods at the elementary level, it fits nicely there because as students are in small group learning, there could be a typing station. We do not have a typing teacher. But it would be, and I don't even want to say it because Gloria is in the room, but it would be like an online program that is self-paced and teaches. So it's something I would say that Mr. Snyder and I are going to start to explore of what that looks like and how we would implement it. The cost is actually fairly inexpensive for consideration, but it's a fantastic program and it's like 2 or 3 days a week, 15 minutes, and it is like research-based that students will learn to type, just doing it a few days a week for a minimal amount of time, but it's something I believe that we should absolutely explore.
And I think
And
you should
you-
encourage it.
I completely agree, and we would probably be coming to you within the next few months with a quote and asking. if
Thank
we can-
goodness Mr. Andrich and Miss Black prepared me to go to Catherine Gibbs.
Yeah. And this is Nara prepared me to type here, ninth grade.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Sister Margaret taught me.
I was halfway
Fortunately,
through
I
my
didn't have
typing
a
class and
typewriter
dropped
before
because
that,
I
so
was
I never
barely-
did.
From a strategic perspective, one of the things that was missing on our old curriculum cycle schedule on our website was in technology. And what kind of articulation do we have in terms of technology? We think of it as integrated in everything, and it is. But we have two instructional technology teachers at the middle level. Do they belong in business? Do they belong in technology? Where do they belong? And so one of the things when we redid the chart is we gave them their own spot on our curriculum cycle for their curriculum to be approved. And the hopes was by putting that in there, we could start talking about what do we want in terms, what do we expect our students to be able to do by the time they leave? It is one of those areas that is a little backwards than everything else. Carla talked about, Mrs. Matheson talked about, we start with the AP exam and we go backwards. Technology changes so fast that we can't kind of do that. So it's a big picture thought of, that is a great question. And are there, in terms of typing and other skills that we want from a technology perspective, we need to articulate that so that we have an expectation at ESASD of what our students should know and be able to do by the time they leave us in terms of technology.
Right, it's beyond just typing, it's computer
Right.
applications. and
Yeah.
it's-
There's
I
a lot.
completely agree,
Mhm.
but I think we
I
can
did
start
the
with bare
simple.
minimum of
Mhm.
just infusing typing. And it's a minor, like it's a micro move, not a macro move that can be done pretty quickly.
Look, I didn't ask for short. Although I do watch Patricia and
It is
I.
impressive that she knows, it is an art form.
I used to take 125 words a minute.
I do not have that skill set.
I do have
I can
70,
type that, I couldn't do short.
maybe 20. If type-
Anything else for the good of the group?
I might need it. I do. I do.
Anything else for the good of the group?
Mm.
All right, well, then our next meeting is June 5th, 5:30 here and on Zoom, of course. So I need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
So moved.
All right, all in favor?
Hi,
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank
Wow,
you.
that was a record.
A record.
6:30.
Oh, my gosh, less than an hour. How did that ever happen? We're getting good at it now.